everyone, welcome to it's Monday, it's a new weight loss week. It is a new weight loss week. It is Monday, the 3rd of March, new weight loss week, new month. I was on Saturday though, which was the first of March, to be fair. But yes, new weight loss week, the first full week of March in full swing. How are we all? We all had a great weekend. Hope we're all good. I'll give it a couple of minutes and then I'll do the top 5 on TikTok. We are on TikTok. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. I'm a bit all over the place today. I've been up. In fact, I was asleep for about 10:30 last night, quite early, flat out, wide awake at 5:45 this morning. So I've been in here this morning working on a few bits and pieces, getting a few things sorted out, ready, because I'm away. I'm going on holiday. I mentioned it. We're on holiday on Thursday. So going away for a week. A little bit of sunshine, hopefully. We're off to Egypt. And a lot of people recently on social media, it's dead cold in Egypt. Well, it doesn't look like that. It's looking like it's going to be about 25 to 30 degrees while we're there. So I will take that nicely. Anyway, let's go through. Remember, guys, these are Weight Loss Lives. If you've got any questions, anything you might be struggling with on your journey, please get some questions in and I will do my very best to answer them. Faye's in at number 1. This is just on TikTok, top 5. Dodds is in at number 2. Paul is in at number 3. Mama Bear's in at number 4 and Donna is in at number 5. Good morning, guys. Hope you are all good. Thank you as always for jumping straight in the live, coming and saying hello. Shell's Artifact Shop Cross Stitch, good morning. Steph GC's in as well. Good morning, Maureen. Good morning, Carol. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. And Neil. Good morning, James. Getting an early walk in, so nice. Sun is out and air is ever so slightly warm. Yeah, I think the weather's meant to be typical. We're going on holiday. I think the weather's meant to be amazing this week, to be honest with you. It looks like it's a bit overcast where we are, but it's just nice being dry. And it definitely feels a little bit warmer. It's meant to be like 12, 13 degrees this week, it says. So in the sunshine, that could be 14, 15. We're taking that. We're having that. We're loving that. Yeah, absolutely. Somebody one, good morning. Let's scan up. Amy's in, good morning. Karen H, Kelly C, good morning. Have I done all the good mornings? I think I've done all the good mornings. Yeah, so I'm fighting not to. I'm not really fighting it, to be honest with you. I'm all good, but yeah, so we're away on Thursday, trying not to go into holiday mode too early. That's always the kind of the battle, this, when you've got a bit of a holiday booked. And I'm ready for a break. Do you know what? I know this sounds daft because it is literally only 9 weeks since Christmas, and obviously had a nice break then. But January, February have just been for us, business-wise and personal-wise, have been manic. Really, really, like work-wise and life-wise, have just been manic. So I am tired. I am ready for a bit of a break. And I also think when you've got a holiday booked, you kind of go into a slow mode anyway. Like you go into safe mode, don't you? You start slowing down a little bit. So this week, and I've got 3 really busy days, trying to catch up on content, trying to do a bit of content to go out, like pre-do some content to go out for when we're away. And then also got to get all the challenges set up, which, to be honest with you, I've done about an hour and a half on the challenges this morning. That shouldn't be an issue. That's my main mission today, is get into the challenges, get really stuck into those. Anyone that started on Monday, I've pretty much done your challenge, unless I need to do a bit more of a specific kind of movement goal, as it were. Because if you're already smashing your steps, I'll need to put some other sort of targets into place. So, so if I need any further information, I will be in touch with you today. But yeah, it's just been a really busy 3 days, but I don't mind. It is what it is, Eye on the prize, a nice little breakaway. Though we're sort of travelling most of Thursday, though I am going to do a little bit of work in the airport Thursday morning. And then Friday's check-in day, so I am going to work on Friday. I'm obviously going to try and get a couple of hours by the pool on Friday as well, but I will be head down. I'm just quite happy to work, I wouldn't mind finding a little nice outside area in the sun, get a bit of work done, certainly till just after lunchtime. To be fair, I think Egypt's 2 hours ahead. So if I wake up at our time, which I normally wake up about 6 a.m., that's going to be 8 a.m. Egypt time. So really, I'll just, I always prefer it when the time's behind. Like if you go to America or something like that, you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning in America and it's like dinner time here. So you're always wide awake yeah, I'm probably gonna try and get up like 7 a.m. Egypt time, which will be 5 a.m. here. I do get a few, though. I don't know how many check-ins I'll get in from 5 a.m. So I don't really get that many check-ins in. But anyway, that's me Friday, and then I'll probably do a little bit of work Saturday morning as well, depending on how many check-ins I get through on Friday and stuff like that. And then I'm signing off Saturday for a good 3.5 to 4 days, Lisa, good morning. Let's see who else is in this morning. Shane's in. Morning, Neil. Can you please talk about HR zones? Which zone should I aim to train in to burn fat? Right, I will talk about that. Give me 1 second, Shane. I'll go into that a little bit more. Had an unplanned break, needed it. Maureen, you sent me a message about that. You've got to listen to your body. You've got to listen to your body and your mind sometimes. Sometimes you just need to, go and have a little bit of a break. Anas on YouTube. I go to Egypt every year. Are you going to Sharm el-Sheikh or Hurghada? We're going to Sharm el-Sheikh. Never been before. Haven't got a clue. Heard lots of good things about it. Really looking forward to going somewhere different. I don't know what's the difference between. I know with the different areas, but are they both kind of? Is Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh? Are they both? I assume. I've only ever really heard of Sharm el-Sheikh, to be honest with you. And then since I've been looking into it, like I've seen like some friends of ours that went to Hurghada. I didn't even know that was another resort in Egypt. But are they both similar? Does anyone prefer one or the other? I'm going to the right place. I'm going to the wrong. I have no idea. To be honest with you, I don't think we're planning on really leaving the hotel. It's just going to be a week of chilling, to be honest with you. Anyway, right, let's answer to Shane. Right, morning, Neil. Can you please talk about HR zones? Which zone should I aim to train in to burn fat? Shane, you burn fat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Please don't get wrapped up into this exercise thing. You're in this fat burning zone, and Fitbits tell you, look, the faster your heart rate is, right, the more energy you need. And we have two types. We get our energy from two sources. One's carbohydrates and one's fat. You burn fat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? And then you'll use carbs as energy as and when the body needs it. Carbs is like your nitrous oxide of energy. It's like your boost. So, I'm sat here now burning fat. I won't really be burning carbohydrates, which it doesn't really matter. We store carbs as glycogen in our muscles. In about an hour and a half's time, I'm going to be in the gym training. When I'm in the gym training, I'm going to be burning carbs and fat together, right? And you actually need both to optimally burn fat. Now, why a lot of people get into, how do I get into this zone to burn? Fat loss and fat burning are two totally different things. If you think getting into a fat burning zone means more fat loss, it doesn't, right? It really, really doesn't. And this is where a lot of people get wrapped up. And you do see a lot of people on social media, this is the best way to burn fat. Burning fat and fat loss are two totally different things. You use fat for fuel all the time. Fat loss is determined by how many calories you eat versus how many calories you burn. Now, you then might be like, right, well, the more intense I train, the more calories I burn. Correct, but you still don't burn that many, right? Exercise is for physical fitness. It's for mental fitness, physical and mental health. That is why we exercise. So do the exercise you enjoy doing, because that will mean that you'll be more consistent with doing exercise. And don't get wrapped up into all these fat burning zones. Why they go do HR zones? It's like I say, it's all down to the more intense the workout, the more your heart beats. Basically, the more energy you need. So will you burn more calories with a more intense workout? Yes, of course you will. They're doing, walking on a treadmill at 5 kilometers an hour on a flat gradient right, for half an hour, if you do a 30-minute HIIT session or class or sprint session on an exercise bike, you're going to burn more calories because it's more intense, right? And you will use more energy to burn those calories. You will use more fat and you will use more carbs, right, to do that exercise. But again, you could go to a gym and stay in the perfect fat burning zone for 6 hours, right? But if you consume the same amount of calories as you burn, you will lose zero fat. You'll burn lots of fat, but you'll just replace the fat you're burning with the fat you're eating, right? So we don't need to get too wrapped up into these. Like, just go to the gym, do your workout, enjoy it. Make sure you push yourself, take yourself out of your comfort zone. When you finish working out, you should be a little bit hot. You should be at least a little bit hot, a little bit sweaty, a little bit out of breath. You should find it a little bit of a challenge. And if you're doing that every time, that's it. That's enough. You don't need to worry about your zones and stuff like that. Yeah. I flew to Cairo to see the pyramids and the Natural History Museum and enjoyed it. Yeah, a lot of people have asked us, are you going to go to Cairo? Do you know what? It's 6 hours on a coach, right? So they do loads of day trips from like Sharm el Sheikh. You can go to Cairo, you can go to Luxor. And don't get me wrong, I would absolutely love to see the pyramids. Would I love to see the pyramids by sitting on a coach 6 hours there, 6 hours back? Absolutely not interested whatsoever. So yeah, if I did the pyramid, now we have looked at flying from Sharm. It's about 40 minutes. So you can fly from Sharm to Cairo in a day. So you can do it that way. It's a bit more expensive. It's quite a bit more expensive, to be honest. And again, I'm not really. I think if I was going to go to Cairo and Luxor, I'd do that as a separate like holiday. I'd sort of treat it more like a city break rather than, yeah. So yeah, we have looked into it, and we're like, while we're there, will we ever go to Egypt again? I don't know. While we're there, but literally, you get picked up. You leave the hotel at 6 a.m. You get to Cairo for dinner time. You get 2 hours to look at the pyramids and have a mooch about, and then you're back on the coast, and then you get back to your hotel at 8 o'clock at night time. And I'm going for a relax. That is for me, 6'5", 19 stone, sat on a coach 6 hours. Nah, I'm not interested. Julie, good morning. Hope you're all good. Do you help with step counts? Yeah, as in what do you mean? So if you sign up to my one-to-one plan, by the way, guys, my one-to-one plan, because I've just got a really busy month, there is now a month wait to come onto my one-to-one plan. So 2 people have actually signed up over the weekend, and I was like, it is the 31st of March when you'll start now. Like, you get instant access to my community, but I've got 3 days now before I go on holiday. I'm not writing up any plans. I'm literally challenging content and sorting out my current clients if they need me for anything over the next 3 days. That's my focus. I'm then going away. When I get back at like 1 a.m. next Thursday, a week on Thursday. Friday's manic check-in day, so I'll just be doing check-ins. And then the week after that, I'll just be catching up from holiday, really. That's when I'll be answering any emails and getting into it. So really, the next time I'm going to start writing plans is week commencing, I think like the 23rd or 24th of March, and then you'll start on the 31st of March, yeah? So, but if you do join my one-to-one plan, part of my one-to-one plan is you get a step progression plan in there. So I'll look at your current abilities, your current movement, and we'll try and ramp your steps up for sort of optimal movement for your journey, to make sure that you've definitely got this healthy, sustainable calorie deficit. Wakey Bell, good morning. Good morning to you too. Hope you're good. It's not safe to drive. No, I wouldn't even contemplate. Like, I like driving in foreign countries. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. But would I drive 6 hours across a country that I have no clue about? No. And I'm not saying there isn't people that do that, but yeah, I wouldn't have a car and do it myself. I'd go on like an excursion, as it were. Right, let me scan down, see if I missed anything. I don't think I have. No, we're all good. Anyway, I've had another good weekend. It's been another good week on the weight loss trail. I think I was about 500-600 calories under my ideal deficit for the week. So I've had sort of 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, I've had sort of 3 or 4 weeks now in a row where I've been right under my ideal deficit. Do I feel overly restricted? Not really. That's part of the advantage of working with a healthy, sustainable calorie allowance. Like I say, my calories are 2,600 calories a day. Don't get me wrong, from the fat I have lost in 2025, I'm currently sitting in about a 7,000 calorie deficit a week. Now, for a lot of people, that would be unsustainable. It would be something that they wouldn't be able to stick to consistently week in, week out. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people think they're eating really low and they probably do have weeks where they eat really low calories, but then they'll maintain for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And that's where they're having a couple of weeks of eating quite a few more calories, well, in a maintenance level. But for me, I have been consistent. I had a weigh-in on Saturday morning. It's not my check-in this week, but alongside weighing every 2 weeks, like standard check-in, I am also weighing on the 1st of each month. So I weighed on the 1st of January, 2024, 2025. And I was actually about 16 pounds up from Christmas. Now, I've not really counted that. In my normal check-ins, I've not, because I think it was a real false negative. Because I weighed myself then on the 2nd of January, which was kind of like when I officially planned on starting back tracking. And I'd lost like 7.5 pounds overnight. Now, have I lost 7.5 pounds of water retention, fluids and food overnight? Possibly, because I was actually quite ill New Year week, right? I had a really bad stomach bug for about 5 days, and I was really, really bloated. And so it could have been. And, on New Year's Day, I didn't really eat that much. I tried because it was New Year's Day and it's like my last hurrah before going back into my weight loss journey. But I didn't really eat that much. A couple of thousand calories because I was poorly. I did drink a lot of fluids. I did go to the toilet a lot. So could I have done? Maybe. But yeah, I did. The thing is, the scales don't lie. When you get on a set of scales, your weight is your weight. But why I say a false negative was because I think it was just a massive blow, but it was still my weight at the time, right? So it was about 17 pounds. If I actually count now, I've lost another 2 pounds in 8 days on Saturday morning, which was the first. Right, and if I go through my progress sheet of my monthly progress sheet that I'm doing, so with the monthly progress sheet, it's just seeing more at further distance, and I'm actually on my monthly progress sheet. I'd like to see a maintain or loss every first of the month. That's kind of what I'm going for. It might. I don't know if it'll happen. But anyway. So I weighed myself on the 1st of January, and then I weighed myself on the 1st of February, and I lost 17.2 pounds over January. That's weight loss. That isn't fat loss because, like I say, I lost that massive sort of 7 pounds just overnight from the 1st to the 2nd of January. And then from the 1st of February to the 1st of March, I lost another 2.8, 5.4, 6.4, 7.4, 8.2 pounds. So in 4 weeks, I lost another 8.2 pounds. Now, that is fat loss. So that's 2 pounds a week. On average, that is a 7,000 calorie deficit a week. I certainly think when I weigh myself on the 1st of April, I'll see another loss, even with having this holiday. April on the 1st of May. Now, I'm not weighing myself on the 1st of May. It will be, I'll tell you why I'm not weighing myself. I'm not here. I'm in Fuengirola on a friend's 50th birthday. So my 1st of May will be the 30th of April. It's about as close as I'm going to get to it. Will I see another loss then? I'm hoping so. 1st of June. Yeah, I still think I can see a loss. 1st of July, possibly not. And even if this loss is £0.5 pound, I maintain. 1st of July, I'm going to be weighing 3 days after coming back off holiday. So that I'm still going to be carrying some holiday weight from that. But anyway, we'll see what we get to. And to be honest with you, I might not even be losing by then. That might not even be my goal. So, yeah, I'd like to lose another 14 pounds. That's what I'm going for in 2025. Then I'll go into a maintenance phase. And then I'll just assess it next year. Do I go into another weight loss phase, January, February, March? Certainly will lose my Christmas weight. But yeah, we're flying at the moment. Doing really, really well. So I'm 20. If I counted that weight from the 1st of January, I'm 25.4 pounds down. How much of that is body fat? With the whooshies, I would say certainly 15 pounds. 15 pounds of body fat in that time. I've been eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, lost 4 pounds in 1 month from eating. Yeah, you can eat what you want. Like, I don't know what you mean by that, Blair, but if you're like, I've been eating 3 times a day, and normally I eat once a day or something like that, you will always lose weight, right? Again, I had a guy yesterday, and he wasn't a troll. He was just like, I put on the bread, the protein rolls from Lidl, and I've had a lot of people tag me in them to try them. Anyway, I went to Lidl yesterday, and I've done a full protein haul, and actually next week's worth the calories is just tomorrow. I'm filming it tomorrow, and it's just going to be a Lidl like protein haul review. Because I've had loads of people telling me about the powdered protein puddings, the pancakes, a couple of dishes. What else did I get? The protein rolls. I got some protein things. They did have protein wraps as well. I wish I'd grabbed them, but I didn't. But anyway, I'm gonna do a Lidl protein kind of new bits review, as it were, tomorrow. But that'll be out next week on Worth the Calories. What was I talking about there? Oh yeah, and I had this guy commented on that roll saying they look great, but way too many carbs for me. And I was like, what's wrong with carbs? And he was like, well, I'm doing keto at the moment. I've tried every diet under the sun and nothing's worked, so I'm trying keto. And I'm like, that's why nothing's worked, because you keep trying all these crazy fad diets. I was like, just stop it. Right? Stop. I need to cut this out. I need to cut that out. Anyway, he wasn't trolling. He was just like, no, I'm doing this. I was like, fair enough. Right? But then, I literally said to him, because he did say, he said, well, I've learned now that if keto, when you eat carbs, insulin's present in the body, and insulin causes weight gain. And I'm like, right, this keeps cropping up. It's fairly new. It's fairly new as a sort of, it's fairly new as a myth. Is this insulin thing? A lot of people said carbs, and now they're going on the insulin thing, right? Insulin in the body. I'm actually going to record a podcast this week called Using Logic to Dispel Myths of Weight Loss, right? We very rarely look at things logically. And something with this, one of these big myth busters, Neil, losing weight very fast. Yeah, I'm losing weight very fast. I'm not losing fat very fast in a way. Like I say, we always have to take into context. When people talk about weight loss, some people might say, I'd love to lose 2 pounds a week. How do I lose? Look, take it into context. I'm a big guy, right? I'm 6'5", right? I started this year over 20 stone. I was like 20 stone, 8 pounds, right? If I counted that first year, 1st of January weight, right? I average over 11,000 steps a day. I train most weeks 6 times a week, and I've been training really hard. Now, I said at the beginning of this live, training, we don't go to the gym to lose weight. We don't go to the gym to burn calories, but it does count, right? It does count. It only makes up a small fraction, but for someone like me that normally loses a pound and a half, because I burn a lot of calories. When you burn a lot of calories, you can eat a lot of calories and be in a big deficit. Right? I'm currently burning 3,500 calories. 3,000. I'm in about 1,000 calorie deficit a day, and I'm eating about 2,000. So I'm burning about 3,500 calories a day on average. Not many people burn that, right? Any of you on this live now, if you burn 3,500 calories a day, you can eat 2,500 calories a day, which is quite a lot of weight, right? Which is a lot of calories. 2,000. If you eat them right, it's a lot of calories, right? And you'll lose 2 pounds a week. But not many people burn. Not many people are my weight, my height, and can do my movement. So that is kind of a bit unique to me. Yeah. So, but never compare yourself to anybody else. Anyway. Yeah, I'm talking about the logic. I'm going to do a podcast about the logic of weight loss. And this insulin myth, it is fairly new, right? Like I say, a lot of people have said carbs make us fat, and that is down to the carbo-insulin model from the late 70s, which basically talks about, it does talk about insulin being a fat store, right? When insulin's present in the body, it causes the body to store fat, and it does. Right? I've spoke about this before, right? Your body has to store fat. It's a natural process of the body. As I said again at the beginning of this life, we have two sources of energy. One's carbs, one's fat. You can't have fat as energy if you don't store fat, right? So I never want to make weight loss seem more complicated than it is, but it isn't simply a case of I eat 2,000 calories, my body uses those 2,000 calories, and then if I'm in a deficit, that's how I always describe it, because it's the easiest way to look at it. But how it actually works is when I eat 2,000 calories, right, or I eat 2,500 calories, my body needs to convert those calories into forms of energy that my body can use, right? Which is either glycogen in my muscle, not either, right? We always need fat. We'll always fat, right? But when we eat carbs, a lot of the glucose in our blood raises up, right? And then insulin's released, and that takes the glucose from our blood and stores it in our cells to be used as energy. And that is muscles, brain, and liver. Now, actually, glycogen isn't really a calorie. It isn't really, calorie balance doesn't really come into it. What our body does with calories that we eat is it converts it into fat, right? And it stores that fat in our body. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing the ketogenic diet or anything, your body will always store fat, right? But generally what happens with please, I've just sent someone an invite, please ignore it. I'm getting loads of messages on my thing and I'm trying to turn them off, right? The body stores fat, right? It will always store fat, whether you're eating carbs or not, whether insulin's always present in the body. Even if you just eat proteins and fat, we do release insulin from the pancreas, right? Because every food raises our blood sugars. It's just certain foods raise it more than others, right? So certain foods are very low glycemic, like meat and dairy and stuff like that. Anyway, so we always store fat. We have to, right? The difference is, when we're in a calorie deficit, we are storing fat, but we're using more fat than we are storing. Therefore, our energy stores deplete. Anyway, think of this logically. If insulin, so this guy was like, insulin causes this, and I was like, look, mate, I've been averaging about 250 grams of carbs a day since the 1st of January, right? And I've lost 14, 15 pounds of body fat, right? I'm not a marvel. I'm not a medical anomaly, right? Oh God, Neil's the only guy that can eat carbs and lose body fat. No, I've eaten body fat because I've been consistent in sticking to my calorie deficit, right? But let's think about this logically. A lot of people at the moment are taking weight loss injections, right? In the UK, Mounjaro is number one. In America, Ozempic is number one. So in America, loads of people are on Ozempic. In the UK, a lot of people are on Mounjaro. Mounjaro or Ozempic, any of these medications, a couple of years ago it was Saxenda, Wegovy, right? Wegovy's still knocking about. You don't really hear of Saxenda anymore. And they're a GLP-1 medication. They are designed to release insulin. They're designed for your body to release insulin. It's a type 2 diabetic medication, right? And the main aim of that medication is to battle insulin resistance. So when we are insulin resistant, our body either doesn't produce enough insulin to bring our blood sugars down, or it doesn't release enough insulin to bring our blood sugars down. One or the other, due to high levels of visceral fat in the body. Right? Now, don't get me wrong, genetics can play a part in this, but for most people, it's high levels of visceral fat that cause insulin resistance. Right? So we take our Mounjaro or our Saxenda or our Wegovy or Ozempic, right? And that, right, causes your body to release more insulin. Whether you're type 2 diabetic or not, right, it will flood your body with more insulin to help bring your blood sugars down. Now, the side effect of these injections is it suppresses your appetite. And medical boards have deemed, whether you're insulin resistant or not, whether you have diabetes or not, type 2 diabetes, medical boards have deemed it, right? Yeah, insulin flooding into the body is not an issue whether you're type 2, whether you're insulin resistant or not. Therefore, it's not going to cause you any health issues, and you can take on the appetite suppression and control your calories better. So what I'm trying to say here is all these people are taking weight loss injections that increases, whether they're insulin resistant or not, increases the amount of insulin present in the body, yet people are losing weight on them. So straight away, a little bit of logic. We've got a new weight loss drug which main purpose is to increase insulin production in the body, right? But the big side effect of it is people lose weight on it. How does that work? If insulin causes you to get fatter, causes you to, again, and this is kind of what I talked about at the beginning of the live, there is a massive difference between the fat burning and fat loss are two totally different things. Fat storing and fat loss are two totally different things, right? But I think people just think, right, fat burning means fat loss, right? No, right? Fat storage means fat gain. No, right? You store 2 pounds of fat in a week, right? Yeah, but you burn 4 pounds of fat in a week, you'll be 2 pounds down. Right? Now you just said, well, fat burning and you just mentioned fat burning and fat loss. Yeah, you need to burn fat to lose fat, but burning fat doesn't automatically mean fat loss. It's all about the difference on energy in versus energy out. So I eat 2,000 calories in a day. My body will store those 2,000 calories as body fat, about 2/3 of a pound of body fat, right? But I then burn 3,500 calories in a day, right? My body will burn 1 pound of body fat. So if you take 2/3 of a pound of body fat stored, but take out 1 pound, you're left with 1/3 of a pound fat loss, right? Over 3 days, that's a whole pound gone. Over 6 days, that's 2 pounds gone. Over a week, you're just losing just over 2 pounds. Yeah. I never want it to get too complicated because I think a lot of people get wrapped up in it. But yeah, I'm doing a podcast, logical myth busting, weight loss, looking at weight loss myths logically. And the things I'm going to cover is, a lot of people that bread makes you fat. Been eating bread. Bread was invented or came around about 8,000 years ago in the form of loaves of bread, right? To how we eat them now, been around a couple hundred years, right? Maybe longer, right? When was the first, best thing since sliced bread? Yeah. Weight issues have been an issue for about 40 years. Now, you will get people going, yeah, but, 100 years ago, bread only had 4 ingredients. Now it's got 40. It doesn't make a difference to the calorie amounts, right? Putting trace elements of, additives and preservatives into bread so it's actually healthier, right? Now, I'm not saying it's healthier in a whole than making bread yourself. What I mean by that is a lot of things added to bread, like they fortify it. They add iron into it. They add B vitamins into it, right? That gives you more nutrition, right? Yes, there are preservatives in bread, but in the amounts that we should be eating them. Now, look, I'm not in control of you, right? If you're currently eating a loaf of bread a day, that's probably going to mean in a whole from, because you don't just eat bread on its own. It has butter on it. It has cheese on it. It has ham on it, right? But as a whole, if you're eating a loaf of bread a day, there's a very good chance you're over-consuming food. That's the main issue, is overconsumption of food, right? But, I eat bread all the time, and I never have more than 2 slices in a day, right? That's maximum, right? Which would be 14 slices over a week. And yes, bread has some preservatives in it nowadays to make it last longer on the shelf. And I'm glad it does, to be honest with you. And I'll tell you why. Because, 100 years ago, right, when you couldn't it wasn't as accessible to go to a shop and buy, bread as it is now in a way. Yeah, a lot more people baked at home. But that's because a lot more people had a lot more time at home. 100 years ago, it was very, very common for a household to have one person that worked full time and one person that stayed at home and ran the household. If you're staying at home and your full-time job is to run the household, you've got more time to bake fresh goods, bake your breads and stuff like that, which is fantastic. In 2025, we don't really have it's rare to have that luxury anymore. Generally, two adults in a household, they will both work full time, right? And something's got to give with that. Yeah. Also, 100 years ago, we weren't that concerned about the environment. There was coal-fired power stations left, right, and centre. Also, a few years ago, we weren't really too concerned about a rich-poor divide. Yeah. But as we've evolved through time, we do worry about people starving now, right? We do worry about the environment now, and we don't have the time that we used to have. Therefore, adding some preservatives to bread means when it goes onto a shelf, instead of it going off in a day or two, it lasts for a week or so. And that has three big bonuses. Number one, it means a loaf of bread 75, 80p. Yeah. Whereas you go to an artisan baker's where they bake the bread, it might be absolutely delicious, right? But you're probably paying knocking on £3 to £4 a loaf. Not many people can afford that, right? Or there's certainly people out there that definitely can't afford that. So having some preservatives in bread makes it affordable to everybody. Yeah. And it won't cause any issues unless it's overconsumed, like any food source. Number two, having bread last a week or two, on a week or so, better for the environment, less food wastage. Right. And number three, it's convenience. We need some convenience nowadays. Like I say, 100 years ago, it was very sexist, but dad went to work and mum stayed at home. My mum and dad had that relationship in the 80s and 90s, right? 70s, 80s, my sister was born in 1976. I was born in 1980. My mum never went back to full-time work after I was born, right? She never went back to full-time work. My mum was a typical housewife. My dad went to work 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and my mum ran the house. Now, don't get me wrong, running a house is a full-time job. And nowadays, people that run houses, you just have to do the best you can. You have to do it at night, cleaning at night, times clean day. But we do need a bit more convenience, yeah. Parents had a bakehouse and shop for 20 years and none of us were overweight. Exactly, right? And that's the thing. Yes, there might be some more additives, but additives and preservatives, a lot of people, it's processed, it's ultra-processed food that causes weight. It's not ultra-processed, it's overconsumption of all these things, right? If you're going to eat nothing but low nutrition, ultra-processed food, right? And that's what used to be 80s, 90s. It was a case of all ultra-processed food had very limited nutrition in it. Nowadays, in 2025, we actually have ultra-processed food, right? 2025 has ultra-processed food, yeah? But we actually have ultra-processed food in 2025 that actually has nutrition. And you've got to look at a product. And I hate labeling things good and bad. I absolutely hate it. I despise it. I hate negative terminology around anything. But you can look at certain things and go, does the good outweigh the bad? Quite easily. And what is an ultra-processed food that has some decent nutrition nowadays? A protein yogurt. I don't care what anyone's it's got guar gum in it and it's got stabilizers and this, that, and the other in it. Right? Again, what people don't understand is about trace elements. There's an app out, right? There's an app. And I get a lot of people that do these comments. I've just scanned this with Yucca and it's full of garbage. Right. Yucca is, if anyone's got Yucca on your phone now, please just delete it. It's been debunked so many times. It's a first class ticket to getting an eating disorder. What Yucca does not take into account, right, is it doesn't take into account context of volume of things in food. So everything's natural. Right? Everything comes from somewhere, right? Everything comes from the earth in some way. Yes, certain things have been through more process. Certain things have been combined to get, if you combine 4 natural ingredients together, it might make an unnatural ingredient. But what we need to understand is, and there's all these things that people go on about. Well, there's plastic in margarine. Right? There isn't plastic in margarine. I don't eat margarine. I always eat butter. But there isn't plastic in margarine. Are there certain elements in life, in chemicals, in science that are present in plastic that will also be present Of course there is, right? Because it's just the way it is, you know. Like I say, everything's a chemical on this planet. Everything's been put together on this planet. So are you going to have trace elements? 100%, right? You know, I always use the analogy like an apple contains cyanide, right? Cyanide, a drug that was, you know, like a suicide drug or a drug that was used like in World War II to literally, you know, instant death within seconds. It's present in an apple. It's mainly in the seeds, right? But cyanide does leach out the seeds into the flesh, right? So if you eat an apple right close to the core, you are digesting cyanide. But there is such the minusculest trace element in it, it would not cause you any harm whatsoever. And if you were to eat, and where the concentration of cyanide is in apple is in the seeds, right? You would have to eat, 1,000 seeds for it even to give you an upset stomach, right? From it, let alone do any. Do you know what I mean? You can make anything sound bad. You know, I was going about water. Water is 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, right? Hydrogen was used to create a bomb in 1945 that wiped out 2 Japanese cities and killed hundreds of thousands of people. Oh, well, so this is basically a bomb that kills people because it's more hydrogen than anything else. It's just water. You can make anything sound bad if you want it to, yeah. And that yucca is absolutely. It's don't get me wrong. Should we be concerned about what goes in to our food? Of course we should. Look, we really, really should. You know, because yeah, we should be concerned. We really, really should be concerned. But again, it's all about overconsumption. When I say we should be concerned, if if you're eating lots of fruit and veg in a day, you're cooking from scratch a good few times a week, right? You know, you're eating lots of yogurt, milk, eggs, things like that. You know, again, overall, your diet's good. It's fine, and you don't need to panic too much. And if you roll in the odd ready meal, a bit of white bread in there, the odd protein pudding, protein mousse, and again, a lot of people don't understand the context. I'm a weight loss coach. There's nothing more unhealthy than being overweight, obese, morbidly obese. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. So, sometimes it's a case of let's conquer that issue. And then once you've got your weight under control, if you then want to go and be this super health freak, sort of, go for it. Right? Go for it. I can't be arsed with that. Right? Because I have the diet I have now, and I'm as healthy as I ever want to be. I feel great. I've got loads of energy. I wake up in the morning with a spring in my step. I'm loving life. I exercise on a regular basis. I drink plenty of water, right? And do I have the healthiest diet in the world? No. Do I class my diet as healthy over? Yeah, absolutely. You go for my NutriCheck. I eat loads of fiber. I eat loads of protein. I don't overconsume salt. I don't overconsume sugar, right? I don't overconsume saturated fat. If I go through my NutriCheck for last week, right, and this is what you should be looking at with you. It's dead easy to see if you've got. We can go on the RDA, recommended daily allowances, right? Sorry, YouTube, Facebook. I'm not showing anyone this, by the way. If you feel like I'm just on my computer, you'll still be able to see me. But if I go into my diary and I go into my week view, right? And in your week view of your NutriCheck diary, and I go into last week, right? So, and recommended daily allowances. Don't get me wrong, these are averages. They will vary from person to person. They will vary depending on medical conditions. They will vary depending on age, sex. But the recommended daily allowances, the recommended for us from the food and nutrition side of the board of medicine, like the Department of Medicine or whatever. So it's about as good. It's just a benchmark, right? So the recommended daily allowance for fiber is 30 grams a day, right? And again, 30 grams a day, recommended daily allowance for fiber. I always like to look at things weekly, so we look at averages over a week. So why is fiber important in our diet? What is the benefit of fiber? because you've got a lot of carnivore dieters at the moment going, oh, well, fiber's not essential. Right, fiber's not essential to survive. It is essential for our health. It's very good for our gut health. And what we mean by gut health is having balance in our gut, right? And basically not having toxins in our gut that could leach into our body that can make us unhealthy. And also not having things that can ferment around in our gut that could trigger like issues. Certainly later on in life, it can take a lot of issues. So, a lot of people say, right, fiber is essential. A high fiber diet reduces the risk of cancer. How does that work? Well, we have cancerous cells in our gut all the time that hover around and stick to the walls and this, that, and the other. Stuff that are carcinogens that can trigger cancers. Right? I'm not trying to scare anyone. You don't need to panic about this, but they are in there. Well, everyone has cancer in their body. It's just what triggers it, right? Now, what fiber does is it keeps your gut moving. Right? It improves your digestive tract. It's also rough, right? So as fiber moves through your small intestine into your large intestine, it picks up lots of cells that could turn cancerous, right? And shifts them out of your body, constantly shifting it out of your body, right? So all these carnivore dieters that go to the toilet once every couple of days, that's it, right? They go, yeah, well, I'm quite regular. I go once, maybe twice a day, once a day, maybe once every 2 days. All this cack, right? These cells that are still about, irrelevant of what you eat, are hovering around in your gut. So you eat loads of fiber. It's kind of like, have you ever seen, I don't know if you've ever bought like a Miyoki mug or something, right? When you buy a Miyoki mug, you get a straw with it, and then you get a cleaning straw. You get like a cleaning thing, and you like a toilet brush. You got your toilet bowl, haven't you? And everything that's stuck to your toilet, and then you get your toilet brush and you run it around like that, and it gets rid of all the debris that's stuck to your toilet, and then you wash it out in the toilet and flush the toilet. It's done. Fiber is like a toilet brush going through your small intestine. It's like a brush that picks up everything that sticks to the walls of your small intestine and moves it along, right? It's great for us. It's essential for optimal health. So the recommended daily amount of fiber a day is about 30 grams a day on average. Don't worry if some days you'll have 10 grams, some days you'll have 15 grams, but you want to have about 210 grams over a week, right? My NutriCheck last week, I had 250, so that's 210 over a week. I had 257.9 grams of fiber. 21 grams on Monday, 44 on Tuesday, 13 on Wednesday, so a lower day, 40 on Thursday, 36 on Friday, 42 and 60 grams of fiber yesterday. Great. Right. Saturated fat. Saturated fat is something we can consume, but we shouldn't overconsume. The recommended daily average 30 grams a day of sat. Last week, I had 235. So I'm 25 grams over. But again, I'm not too worried. Similar with the fiber. It's 210 recommended average a week, 30 a day. If I'd had 190 grams of fiber last week, I'd have been more than that. I would have been happy with that, right? 235, just over. 23 grams of saturated fat on Monday, 20 on Tuesday, 19 on Wednesday, 23 on Thursday, 26 on Friday, 38 on Saturday, 82 yesterday. Higher calorie day, but I had a cheese and onion pie. I had some cheesecake. So I consumed a lot of saturated fat yesterday. But it's like a treat day, more high calorie day. But overall, 235 over a week is great, Salt. Now, I do consume a lot of salt, but the recommended daily amount for salt is 6 grams a day. Times that by 7 is 42 grams over a week. I had 54 last week. I actually have more salt than I should on purpose. Why? Because I drink a lot of this stuff. If you drink a lot of water, I'm about 3-4 litres a day, you flush out a lot of essential minerals out of your body. Therefore, you need to replace those essential minerals, and an essential mineral is salt. A lot of people are scared of salt, but again, it's overconsumption. So I'm quite happy having. So like Monday, I had 3 grams of salt. Tuesday, 7. Wednesday, 5. Thursday, 6. Friday, 9. Saturday, 8. Yesterday, I had 14. But again, I drink loads of water. Now, I didn't drink loads of water yesterday, but I will be drinking loads today. And any excess salt that might be sat in my seed, it'll just get flushed out when I go for a wee lot today. Yeah. So we can look at our overall. You can look at your overall diet like that, really, really simply. Gemma on Facebook, our loaf of bread always goes off, so we now freeze it all and take out what we need. Brilliant. Or we get the small packets of bagels so they can be used in 3 days. But I do get fed up of bread, so we alternate between flatbreads, bagels. Absolutely, of course you should, right? Also, if you are diabetic, right? Even if you're not diabetic, if you want to slow down the release of energy from bread, freeze it first, then defrost it as and when you need it. When you freeze bread, it makes the starch in the bread a lot more resistant, right? So if you love white bread, I love Warburton's toasty bread. It's top tier bread. Aldi's Dupe is just as good in my eyes, right? It's great, especially if you're having a bacon butty, right, or a good jam on toast. White bread, top tier, right? Stick it in. If you're worried about like it being a fast, you want to turn white bread, which is a fast digesting carb, into a slower digesting carb. Just buy a loaf, stick it in the freezer. Take your 2 pieces out, ping it in the microwave, whatever, or let it defrost naturally. You know, it'll only take an hour if you leave it on the side, split it up. Yeah, you will you'll massively increase the resistance of the starch, even though it's white bread. And you'll actually, a lot of people hear about people saying like sourdough bread is mid to low glycemic. Well, you can turn any bread into a mid to low glycemic bread by freezing it and then defrosting it. Yeah. We need to be on a plan we can eat for life, and I have to have processed foods or I couldn't sustain. Exactly. And like I say, people are, processed foods, are there a lot of processed foods out there that are low nutrition? Yeah. Rustler's burgers, yes, your McDonald's, even those you can eat every now and then. Absolutely fine, right? But are there a lot of processed foods out there that have a lot of good nutrition? They might have things in there that, again, if overconsumed, might not be great for our health. But, like baked beans. I put a post on about one of the most nutritious meals. Bread, beans on toast. Can't beat it, right? You really can't beat it. And the amount of like, as if that's the most... Well, why is it not? It's literally loads of fibre, loads of protein, right? It tastes good. Everyone loves it. It's dead quick to make, right? It's got loads of vitamins and minerals in there. Yes, there is some sugar in the sauce, but it's not a ridiculous amount of sugar. And again, like I said before, I hate labeling things good and bad. But if you look at all the goodness in beans on toast compared to what people might class as a negative to goodness in beans on toast, the good massively outweighs the bad. Therefore, it's a tick. Get it in your diet, Right, let me scan down. Chia seeds, good fibre. Yeah, fantastic. Chia seeds, flax seeds. I love them mixed in my yogurt. I can't beat it. Really can't beat it. I'm going to film this week and do what I call my natural Manjaro bowl, which is basically, if you want something that's going to fill you up for a good few hours, right? I've been eating them loads in 2025. I've been absolutely smashing these in 2025. Now, I do a recipe called the Bossy Staple. And the Bossy Staple is yogurt with a bit of protein powder mixed in it, topped with some nice fresh berries, sprinkle of granola, drizzle of honey, right? My natural Manjaro bowl is the same thing, except I use frozen fruit instead of fresh fruit because, why I call it that? Because 3 things cause us to be full. Protein, fiber, volume, right? I'm not going to sit there just because, I'm frozen on TikTok. Oh, my signal's, hang on. So it's just come on Facebook and said, you're frozen on TikTok. Should be all right. It should be all right. It's not to do with my booster. I'll tell you why. Someone just said he frozen on TikTok. Came to Facebook, TikTok, complete frozen. I'll tell you why I've frozen on TikTok, right? If anyone's just thinking I'm frozen on TikTok, I'll tell you why. This is why it is just finished uploading my podcast to Spotify. That is why I frozen. And just as it does the last, basically, it's uploaded it and now it's processing it. So it's absolutely battering my bandwidth. So unfortunately, TikTok might be rubbish. It might be rubbish. Yeah, it's because I'm uploading a podcast and it's just battering my Wi-Fi. Hopefully TikTok might be back on. Oh no, yeah, it's guys. I'm sorry, it's frozen. It's because I'm uploading a podcast and it's processing. So my signal is even now it's yellow. It's nothing to do with my booster this time. Starvation mode, real thing. Can your BMR decrease so much that your maintenance becomes no? Absolute nonsense. If your maintenance became 500 calories, you'd be dead. Right, be that simple. So absolute garbage. No, load of nonsense. Rachel Roo, good morning. Right, let me scan down. Chia seeds good for fibre. Yeah, 100%. So I was talking about my natural Manjaro bowl. Very, very similar to my Bossy staple. But whenever I do a recipe or recommend a way for people to eat or a dish for people to eat, I always take into account cost. Right? You get all these muppets on social media. Just eat free-range eggs. Just eat grass-fed beef. I mean, look, I'm from a community. I've worked as a farmer on and off a little bit in this community. I've milked and this, that, and the other. Right? Cows are grass-fed. It's what they eat. Right? It doesn't now. They might be like, yeah, well, it's just fed on grass. Yes, when cows, we do give them proving, we do give them other bits and pieces to bulk their feed up a little bit. I assume grass-fed cows have nothing but grass. Does it make a single difference to the nutritional value of a steak or mince or anything that comes off it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Does nothing to it. So don't get wrapped up. Same with organic. It's organic. It does nothing. It's an absolute, everyone goes on about protein on a packet's a marketing con, but buy this organic broccoli. That's a marketing con, right? There is nothing different. You go, well, it's pesticide. They still get sprayed in organic situations, right? The nutritional value is zero difference, right? There's been so many tests done, right? Here's a broccoli that's just grown like as you would. This is one that's organic. Is there anything, let's see what elements, how many pesticides have soaked into this broccoli? Nothing, right? Don't buy organic food. It is a rip-off, right? Don't get me wrong. If you've got a local farm shop or a local, we have, I live in the country and there's people that'll walk around and they pick blackberries and they put them on a little stall with an honesty box at the front of their house. And, we've got quite a few honesty boxes around here with eggs. And I get it. Yeah. Free range eggs. I buy quite a lot of free range eggs from around here if people have them at the front of their house and stuff. But honestly, it's still lagging and stalling. Yeah, guys, forget TikTok. I'm going off now anyway. I can't stop my podcast processing. So it's just knackering my bandwidth, I'm afraid. But I'm finishing off now. But anyway, the difference between my what I call my natural Manjaro bowl, which is basically just a massive bowl of something, is I use frozen fruit instead because, fresh fruit. If I ask you to put 250 grams of fresh fruit into a dish, for most of you, that's going to cost you £4, right? That's like four knocking on £4. Whereas frozen, it's just over £1. So my natural Manjaro bowl, it's literally Greek yogurt, bit of honey, bit of protein powder, fresh fruit, frozen fruit, all mixed up, a little bit of granola and flaxseed on top, fiber, protein, 300 odd calories, will absolutely stuff you. Absolutely stuff you. You have that for your breakfast. You have that now at 9:30 in the morning, right? You won't want to eat again till like 1 o'clock, right? Have that at 2, 2:30 in the afternoon. You'll be fine for your tea till 6, 7 o'clock at night time. It's just so filling. It really, really is. Right, guys, I'm out of here. That's me. I am going. I've got a lot of stuff to do. Yes, I've got a lot of stuff to do. So I'm out of here. TikTok, I will be back. There'll be no podcast processing at 8 o'clock tonight. So hopefully it should be fine on my phone. But I'm back at 8 p.m. tonight. Have a wonderful Monday. Remember, it's a new weight loss week. New set of calories in the bank. Step count 0. Get at it, right? Oh, before I go, I didn't mention this. New month, Bossy protein boxes. So I'm trying to get these sold out. I've got about 10 left before I go away. Normally I'm not that bothered, but I've got about 10 left. If you've never had a Bossy protein box before, Go buy one now. You've got to click subscribe and save. It won't work on one-time purchase. It's for new customers only. I'll be honest with you, if you've bought a box before and you use a different email to create a different account on my website, you'll get the discount as well. But use code NEWPROTEIN and you'll get 30% off your first subscription, right? There's no contracts. If you get the box, you don't like it, cancel it. It's fine. But the belting. So you can get one of these if you've never had one before or you use a new email for £16.39 delivered to your door. Right, I've got loads of them here. I think I've sold 20. Right, so there's 20, and I'd like to get rid of another 10 before I go on holiday. So if you head to my TikTok profile, click on my link tree, Facebook, YouTube, link tree, thingamabob. Right, it's on my Facebook page. I can put the link actually on the channel, but go grab yourself a Frosty Protein box. Use code NEWPROTEIN at checkout, and it'll knock you 30% off your first subscription. So it's £16.39, which is an absolute bargain. 11 different protein products, and in this box is one of the best protein bars I've ever eaten. Right, I'll get it in the post today if you go and buy one. If you've already bought one over the weekend and your subscription's gone through, I'm going to take them all now and get them posted out to you. So they should be with you in a couple of days. Right, I'm out of here. Have a great day, TikTok, and I'll see you at 8 p.m. tonight. And you lovely people on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, I'm back at 8 p.m. tonight. I don't know what I'm on this week. I'm on tomorrow. I can't remember. I'm on tomorrow. I'm on Wednesday. I think I'm going to do like a Wednesday tea time one. I can't remember what I've put on the newsletter. But then I'm off. I'm off then for a week. All right. So, but I'm definitely on tonight at 8 p.m. So have a great day, TikTok, Facebook, and I'll see you later on this evening.